Day 1441 of the Trump administration, just 21 days until Joe Biden takes the oath of office as the 46th president. And in a surprise, the White House tonight confirming that the outgoing president, who spent Christmas in Florida, will be ringing in the new year in Washington. Donald Trump is returning early, days ahead of what he hopes will be a battle in Congress on January 6th, when the House and Senate certify Biden's win. Missouri Republican Senator Josh Hawley says he intends to object to the certification next Wednesday. He's the first senator to say he'll join the handful of House Republicans who've indicated they also plan to contest Biden's victory. Senate Majority Leader Mitch McConnell had urged GOP senators not to go along with those House members. But tonight, Hawley said he felt he had no choice.
You've got 74 million Americans who feel disenfranchised, who feel like their vote doesn't matter. This is my opportunity to stand up and say something, to stand up and point out that there were irregularities in this election. There needs to be an investigation.
It should be noted, again, no evidence of widespread election fraud has been found, and none of Trump's court challenges to the election have been successful. Today, several other lawmakers, including one Republican House member, slammed Hawley's move.
You inject disinformation into the constituents and then use that disinformation as a rationalization to protest this. It's unbelievable, and it's how disinformation works, right? It's a self-licking ice cream cone.
Josh Hawley and anyone who supports his effort are engaged in the attempted overthrow of democracy. Senator Hawley's efforts are not going to change the result of the election, but they pose a grave threat to American democracy. Maybe not this year, but 2 years from now, 4 years from now, absolutely.
Meantime, Joe Biden's team is shrugging off any attempt in Congress to contest his victory.
The American people spoke resoundingly in this election, and 81 million people voted for Joe Biden and Kamala Harris. Congress will certify the results of the election as they do every 4 years, regardless of whatever antics anyone is up to on January 6th. President-elect Biden will be sworn in on the 20th.
As that date nears, the lame duck president is escalating his attack on a former key ally who refuses to intervene in his state's presidential election. Today, Trump had this suggestion for Georgia's governor, writing, quote, Brian Kemp should resign from office. He is an obstructionist who refuses to admit that we won Georgia big. A few hours after that, Kemp spoke to reporters about Trump's attacks.
All of these things are a distraction. I mean, I've supported the president. I've said that many times. There is a constitutional and legal process that is playing out. And I'm very comfortable letting that process play out. But that horse has left the barn in Georgia, and it's headed to D.C. right now. The next vote is going to be there, not here. So people need to focus on the vote that is happening here.
Georgia is just days out from the Senate runoffs on Tuesday. Early voting has been underway for weeks there. That election will, of course, determine the balance of power in the Senate. So far, more than 2.5 million votes have been cast. On Monday, the outgoing and incoming presidents will both be in Georgia. Joe Biden scheduled to visit Atlanta to campaign for Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. President Trump is holding a rally in Dalton that night for Republican Senators Kelly Loeffler and David Perdue. The Trump administration continues to face fierce criticism over the COVID vaccine rollout, which has been a lot slower than President Trump and health officials had predicted. Today, the White House defended its efforts.
There clearly are vaccines out there that have not been given. We're only 16 days into this campaign. The first dose was given only 16 days ago. And we do expect a very rapid ramp up in vaccines and arms. Of course, we need to be doing a better job, but all vaccine programs start somewhat slow.
Trump himself weighed in on Twitter, writing, the federal government has distributed the vaccines to the states. Now it is up to the states to administer. Get moving. Along with all this, we are now seeing more U.S. cases of the new, more contagious COVID strain.
This new variant, this new strain that we've identified, obviously, from the United Kingdom, some other parts of the globe, identified in Colorado yesterday, has been identified here in the state of California. in Southern California.
I'm not surprised that you have a case, and we likely will be seeing reports from other states.
Well, officials in Colorado say they're now aware of a second suspected case of that new strain there. As for efforts to boost the amount of COVID relief, not looking good. Senate Majority Leader McConnell says there's, quote, no realistic path for a standalone vote on the $2,000 relief checks that the president says he wants and that Democrats support.
The Senate's not going to be bullied into rushing out more borrowed money into the hands of Democrat rich friends who don't need the help.
Instead, McConnell has thrown his support behind a bill that ties those payments to two other demands from Trump: the investigation of election security and the removal of legal protections for social media platforms. This combined measure is highly unlikely to pass. Tomorrow, the Senate is expected to take up whether to override Trump's veto of the defense bill. Meantime, the number of confirmed COVID cases in the U.S. is nearing 20 million. More than 342,000 Americans have died in the still uncontrolled pandemic. And today, the CDC projected over 80,000 more lives could be lost by January 23rd.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.